This is Pastor Dennis Cahill from Christ Community Church, and I prayed for you today. How did I know who to pray for? Well, I prayed for everyone who will watch this short video. And I prayed following Paul's pattern in Colossians chapter 1, verses 9 and following. So listen to that prayer. Paul says this, and he says, "From the day we heard, we have not ceased to pray for you, asking that you may be filled with the knowledge of his will and all spiritual wisdom and understanding, so as to walk in a manner worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing to him, bearing fruit in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God. May you be strengthened with all power, according to his glorious might, for all endurance and patience with joy, giving thanks to the Father, who has qualified you to share in the inheritance of the saints in light." Well, this is a great prayer. And this is my prayer for you today. And so I prayed this morning that you might be filled with the knowledge of his will and all spiritual wisdom and understanding or discernment. I think it's similar to prayer in Ephesians 3:19 when he prayed we might be filled with all the fullness of God. This speaks of a heart. This speaks of a heart affected by the gospel. This speaks of a heart that is turned to God and is filled with all the fullness of God. This is the secret of life, a heart transformed. And when that happens, and this is the second part of my prayer, that you might walk worthy, he says, of the Lord, living fully pleasing to him. And so we are to walk or live differently because we've been filled with all the knowledge of his will and all spiritual wisdom and understanding. That causes us to live life differently. And so we begin to live and to walk in a manner that is fully pleasing to God. And that's really the ultimate goal of life, that our lives might be fully pleasing to God. Not necessarily pleasing to everybody around us, not even necessarily pleasing all the time to us, but fully pleasing to God. And then he prays that we might, and I pray, that you might bear fruit in every good work, increasing in the knowledge of God. A life that is effective for the kingdom. A life that accomplishes God's good purpose through you. A life that furthers God's kingdom. This is what we desire. A life that is truly fruitful. And so that is my prayer for you today. And what is the source of this? Well, that's the next part of the prayer, that we might be strengthened with all power through according to his glorious might. And so we cannot live this life in our own strength, in our own power. One of the great understandings that I've come to in life is understanding that I am inadequate and that I cannot do it. And that my only hope is the power of God through Jesus. That's my prayer for you, that you might discover that you are inadequate, and also discover, not only that, to discover that he is fully adequate, and that you might be strengthened with all power through his glorious might. And then it says, for all endurance and patience with joy. We are to choose to live joyfully. Rejoice in the Lord always, said the Apostle Paul. Rejoice in all circumstances, whatever happens. As followers of Christ, as those who know Jesus, we have a reason for joy. So patience is so important too. Endurance. Life has to be endured, but endured not just out of duty, but endured out of a joy that comes through knowing our God. And then he says, giving thanks to the Father, who has qualified you to share in the inheritance of the saints in light. So my prayer is that you might be thankful. Thankful all the time. We always have something to be thankful for. Give thanks in all circumstances, says Paul in 1 Thessalonians. So give thanks. So that's my prayer. I pray that for you today. I prayed that for you today. And how is God going to fulfill it? Well, I don't know exactly, but maybe in part through our service this Sunday. Because this Sunday, my prayer is that those who gather together to worship will be filled with all the fullness of God. This Sunday, my prayer is that we might begin to walk in a way that's worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing to him. My prayer is that this Sunday, my God might teach us what it means to bear fruit in all increasing in the knowledge of God. And my prayer is that this Sunday morning, we would experience the power and the strength of God in our lives, however God chooses to do it. And that we might have the strength to endure, but also to endure in joy, giving thanks in all circumstances. Well, that's my prayer for you today. And who knows what God might do.